bars in a raid. Man, I go hard like Santan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Kop End Fracas, powered by Touchline Media Group. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Krish, and today I am joined by two of the greatest people we have on Kop End, two of my very good friends as well. I am joined by the Lord of the Manor, Mr. Harold, and I'm joined by the General, Ellis. Gentlemen, how are you doing this lovely, very warm Tuesday evening?
Yeah, I'm good, you know. I'm doing better now that the dust has settled a little bit from the weekend, but in general, you know, I think it's starting. Maybe it's the beginning of summer. It's not raining. You know, maybe we can actually join some sun in July. That would be nice.
Always some positives. Always positives. And I gotta say, Harold, your skin is looking fantastic. You're looking like $1 million on the old video. For people who are listening on the audio, if that's not an incentive to listen to watch it on YouTube, then I don't know what is. Harold's fantastic face, his beaming smile. He just pulled a look to say, "I can't believe you're doing this to me. Why are you doing this to me?" But we got to get the views up, and we're using our best talent to do it. So that's what it is. Ellis,
yes,
how you living, brother?
I'm okay, brother. I'm all right, man. Can't complain, bro. Same old, man. How are you?
I love it. I like how Harold was quite eloquent. You know, the weather's changing. And you got Els just like, "All right, you know,
yeah, right. Right.
I think
That's why.
I think this has more to do with the fact that we caught up yesterday. But yeah, Els is a character. She's a short and sweet character. It's like, yeah, I'm doing all right, you know. I'm doing all right. Well,
speaking of Giza, by the way, Ellis, were you with any Adiolas on the weekend, by the way?
I was doing a pod on the weekend.
Okay.
The guy to the pub, mate. I should have. Thank you.
Krish, by the way, first of all, can I just say your hair looks amazing, as always. Second of all, that top you're wearing, oh my days, that looks fantastic.
Bloody hell. Bit of modeling. Again, for the people on the video, if you're not watching on the video, you're missing out. You're missing out. Sometimes we have diagrams. Sometimes we have the lovely Harold. Sometimes we just have all sorts of casting characters on Kop End. So you don't even get it. Ellis and his meathead.
You know.
But yes, I am currently wearing the new Liverpool away shirt for the upcoming 2021-22 season, the Vapor Edition. I have to say, it is by far one of the best Liverpool shirts I've ever had the pleasure of strapping on my elegant chest. I don't know why I said it that way, but you know, gotta sell it as much as we can. If you are buying the Vapor version, do buy it a size larger, because I'm not gonna lie, this is quite hem on the biceps. It makes me feel hench, but also it makes me feel you need to lose about 10 pounds, mate. So get on that quite quickly. All the features on the kit are fantastic. The dry knit technology, the badge looks fantastic. Everything is just brilliant. The collar, nice little touch. So yeah, do go out, do buy it if you can. And again, the stadium version is also fantastic as well, as my sister brought that one. Let's get stuck into this week's pod, and unfortunately, we have to kind of start on a bit of a dour note. In all honesty, I mean, we've talked about this a lot in terms of why certain people kind of don't support England. I used to be quite a prevalent England supporter, like the last World Cup and whatnot. I was fairly out. I was out there. I was on Broad Street. I was seeing people jumping on top of buses. Fun fact, I saw a guy on top of a bus who then jumped off it, landed on the bus shelter like he was Jeff Hardy. So that was something that happened. But again, obviously after the loss on penalties, the ugly head of not only racism in football, but racism in this country revealed itself yet again and put an end to all of the vibes that we felt. And I think it's really important as us, as minorities, to kind of discuss this on this week's pods. And Harold, Els, I know you two were you were fairly behind. You were all in on this England team, just because of the lads that are in the team. And you know, I completely sensimise that. You look at the guys who are in the team. You look at Rashford, all that he's done to kind of fight the government and try and end food poverty. You look at Raheem Sterling, who has been the brunt of just pure racist abuse from tabloid newspapers for the best part of over 7 years now, and it's a massive disgrace. And then you see what happens to another young man in Bukayo Saka. I'm not going to say when will it end, but is this something that we need to stop treating as an awareness exercise, and we just need to do something now to ensure that it just tries to get stamped out as much as possible?
Yeah, I think right, where do I even start? Okay. All right, okay, cool. So this is the biggest reason why I do struggle or perhaps it's a reason why I have such a complicated relationship in supporting the English football team. I felt like every time I said that I was supporting England, I had to specify and clarify I was actually supporting the players, the group of players, and not the country itself. And the actions afterwards has shown the reasons why. It got so bad at one point I was almost happy, like justice was served, that England actually didn't get what I wanted them to do, which was to win the Euros, because we got to see, plain and simple, everyone in front of us. Like I said, I don't know where to start. We can go forever on this topic, but I just want to echo the words of our fellow cast member Mike and what he's saying. I think it does need to come from the top. First of all, there needs to be some more stern punishments. I think that there comes a time where things are like you keep doing things to get the attention, even if it's negative attention. You see it from celebrities, you see it from just general people. The glamour of clout, even for the wrong reasons, is still a glamour in a sense. And I feel like racism is almost in trend. I know that sounds crazy to say, but it's going to get highlighted. It's not often you get like a Wilfred Zaha post your screenshot on social media, but now he's doing it to show and to essentially just expose the people who have disrespected him and disrespected his race, our race. But at the same time, those same accounts, you see that you go on their account like maybe a few hours later and they got loads and loads of followers more. So these are some of the reasons why people do it. I'll say that, but also I'll go outside to say I think fundamentally and sadly, quite inherently, this country is racist. I don't understand how you can watch a game of football and someone fails and your immediate feeling is to bash them because of their color. Like that is mind-boggling to me. Like, you can see the emotion on their face, even forgetting how old Bukayo Saka is, just for a moment, or even the Rash or Sancho. Like, just forget that for a moment. Just as another person who's clearly like dedicated their life towards playing for this country. They could have played for other countries, by the way. Like, don't get twisted. Yeah. Bukayo Saka could have played for either Nigeria or England. Okay, Sancho probably could have. I don't know where his country of origin comes from, but I think he's somewhere in the Caribbean. Same with Marcus Rashford. They don't have to do this, right? But they want to. You can see what it means to them. I think there's a lot needs to change. But like I started with this like short soliloquy of mine. I'd say it starts from the top. Like, you need to not have a half-hearted response to taking the knee. And for the support of it, when Boris Johnson, I'll name him and shame him, when after Southgate and all the players were made it quite clear that they'll be taking the knee in support of all of the black issues that are out there and just racial prejudice issues. He gives a very lukewarm statement, a very wishy-washy statement, Boris Johnson, about whether you should do it, trying to appease both sides of the coin. And I don't understand how there's even two sides of the coin, but such is the world we live in. But once again, he needs to just be quite honest and not be quite honest. He needs to be stern in his message and just completely stamp it down and say that is outrageous. And then you have the likes of Priti Patel. I don't want to give her too much airtime, but it's outrageous to like. Don't get me wrong. I'm always in the spirit of forgiveness, but blatant contradiction, and it's almost insulting. Not almost, it is insulting the way she say, boo the knee, feel free, then also go on and support these same boys who are taking a knee, particularly someone like Raheem Sterling, who's a black man who's been carrying this country for the majority of this tournament, and then to go on and say, support the country. It's like, are you actually kidding me? It's like you're literally you're pissing on me and telling me it's raining. Like, you're taking the absolute liberty. So I think first and foremost, it needs to start from up top. There needs to be some more. There needs to be some more ramifications for these crimes, because that's what they are. Like, it's ultimate crime. But I just think I don't have all the answers, but I will say some people need to look in the mirror and how they're bringing up this next age, this next generation, as to like just to respect your fellow brother or sister. I just don't understand. There's nothing more demeaning than to be put down because of something that you have no control over, and that being your skin, and it has no effect on your insides whatsoever. We're the same people, and you can tell by how long I've gone on for now. I'm speaking like mush. Apologies, but like it's just a matter that is quite close to my heart, and it just hurts me because it's one thing being like, I want to be right, but in this situation, I didn't want to be right. I didn't. The fact that we all knew the moment those 3 players missed, we knew what was coming. It didn't even take an hour. Like, it was there immediate. It
was instantaneous. Yeah,
it was insane. People having to rush home from pubs if they were black or Asian or whatever, just because they were fearing their life. It's like, what? Like, are you mad? Like, are you demented? It's hard for me not to get too emotional about it. But what I will say is, you just need to have a clear direction right from the top, and it's just more of a damning effect or more of a damning indictment from this torrid reign we've seen from the Tories in these last few years. But like, this is not a podcast. It's not a podcast. It's not a politics podcast. But yeah, those are my feelings. Ellis, I probably haven't left you with anything there. Apologies.
No, that's right. It was beautiful. Obviously, what you said was beautiful.
That is honestly that is extremely well put, Harold, and I'm glad to be here with you.
You know what I'm saying? There's not much you can add to that because it is wonderfully put, Harold. Only 2 pence I have is that it's mad because when these things happen, they'll get like a bunch of black people to come on television or ethnic minorities to ask us what we can do to stop racism. I can't do anything, mate. To be honest with you, I can't do anything. I'm not the one that's being, you know what I'm saying? I'm not dishing out the racial abuse. I'm receiving it. You won't tell someone who's getting punched in the face what can you do to stop getting punched in the face. I have not a clue. People need to look at themselves in the mirror. They need to see like what they're doing is pretty bad. And like Harold said, what he said was like a lot of people do this for clout, and they know they're going to get an attention, and this is what they want. And until people start getting slapped with like 3-year sentences in prison for these kind of things, or whatever the sentence is in prison, then people realize that this is pretty bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Because nothing's happening to anyone. Oh yeah, they got arrested. They probably get let out, be reprimanded for 24 hours, get let out, and then carry on with their life, and nothing happens to them. I think there was a gentleman who was working for a property organization. He got found out. I'm not too sure if he got sacked. But
he didn't, by the way. Apparently, he said that his account was hacked, even though he said the N word more than once. And apparently, that property organization said they were looking at a full internal investigation to formulate the validity of his claims.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen. They're just going to sweep it under the background. They're going to tell him to keep a low profile. I know the organization in question. I know there's plenty of people of ethnic minorities that work for that organization. I work in that sector. So I know fully well that what's going to happen is it's going to get, put in a back burner, tell him to keep a low profile, keep his head down, and just carry on with life. So when you see things like that, what's the point? It's no point. It's just going to carry on and carry on. What I like to say on the players is like, big up those 3 players, because
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, 1,000%, man.
You know what I'm saying? Big up Saka, big up Rashford, Sancho. These are
big up Tyrone Mings as well, man.
Big up Tyrone Mings. He just absolutely 2-footed Prithvi Patel right there. Slide tackle, get out of there. Don't want to hear nothing you're saying. But it's good because it's them ones where a lot of like other people are telling these footballers are to stay out of politics. Well, not really. Our good friend Disu, he made a fantastic tweet saying that, how can you tell these people just to essentially shut up and dribble, where they are paying members of the community? They vote. They have their own rights, so they are right to like.
You also can't tell someone to keep politics out of football when you are essentially getting abused in your workplace.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I hate that they even call it politics. Are you mad? You're racially abusing me. You're calling it politics. Are you insane?
We are making a stance after every game. Before the game, was saying that what's happening in the game is very bad. It needs to be looked at, and people are saying, "Oh, keep it out of football." No, No, because if I came to your workplace and hurled abuse at you for 1 hour, 30 minutes, then when you get home, send more abuse to you via whatever medium platform you use, you'll tell me, oh, right, yeah, this is a bit mad. This is a bit crazy. So I think people need to come to the realization that this is a crazy time we live in. Nobody deserves to be abused for nothing just because their color of skin or whatever creed, whatever you are. No one should be abused because of that. But again, I don't know about you lot, but for me, it becomes tiresome because why do I always have to talk about it? Imagine, I think it was a 50-year-old man who got in trouble today. And I saw that he was a...
Yeah, so I was going to bring this up. So we talk about this whole, the stuff that Kick It Out do, and some of the stuff they generally do is really good work. Some of the awareness the Sky do, etc. But you'd think that is to educate a younger generation. One of the people who were arrested today was a 50-year-old man who was also a youth football coach.
Scary, absolutely scary.
And these aren't even openly racist people. People who are openly racist, you know where they are, you know where to, you know the locations of them, and you know to avoid them. But it's the people who, live among us, shop among us, work among us, the most dangerous people. I mean, I was telling a story earlier on to some of my other friends. I used to work for a very well-known food brand, and on a Christmas night out, I got told I was one of the good ones.
Yeah, what does that mean?
And then I went to told my line manager, and she said, "Oh, don't worry about it. That's just so and so." I even escalated to HR, and nothing got done. To the point where I felt, there's no point me even being here, so I left the company.
There's a massive way to go. What I'm happy about is just how out in the open it is for everyone to see. Like even the most ignorant, bastardly person can clearly see with their own two eyes that there is a succinct and distinct racism in this country. Like it isn't as violent as America. There's no doubt, absolutely. However, that doesn't make it any better. No, please don't get it twisted. It's still a massive problem here. But just to end on a more positive note, I just wanted to quote on what Ellis said. There's two things I've been vindicated in these last few days. One is that there's a reason why I don't support England, the nation. It's not a minority. Don't get it twisted. It's not. Second of all, I support the players, and I've never felt more proud to call for those England boys. I've never heard of a group of players like this to stick up for matters like that, by the way, guys. I've never, ever, in my entire life of watching football, you would never, ever hear about so many... Sorry, there's a guy outside wanting to do...
Fast and Furious outside.
Yeah, honestly. Probably Vin Diesel out there. Family. Anyway,
family.
I've never known a group of players to be so loud and proud about matters like this and go against what is seen as like the political grain as such. I'm so happy. I've never felt more connected with it. I know obviously football is football and life goes on, right? But I've never felt more connected with a Manchester United footballer in my entire life. I couldn't dislike Marcus Rashford if I tried. He is the epitome of everything that is a modern day footballer, both on the pitch and off the pitch. He is a sensation. Honestly, he's a phenom. He is fantastic. I couldn't give him enough praise if I tried. Raheem Sterling, Bukayo Saka, these guys who stand up for what is right. Ian Wright is another one as well. He's so open with it. I love it. He's so passionate. I've just never been more proud to have such good representations for us going forward. And if those men I've mentioned are anything to do with the future of football's in a very good hands. Even beyond the black players, Jordan Henderson. He always speaks so well. Of course, I'm going to say that, but he's a fantastic leader. We don't just say it for the sake of it. You can see how much it means to him when it comes to sticking up for what is right. We have so many players in our squad. Declan Rice is another one. You can just tell that their background has been influenced a lot by people of color. And you can just see that they're like, these are my people. I couldn't care less. They could be blue or yellow. Couldn't care less. I'm going to stick up for them. I'm going to do what's right. And I'm just very proud to have those England boys represent this country in the football sense. Even Southgate as well. The way he came out and he spoke very well about things. You can question him as a coach, fine, whatever, but he's a top man, and it's trickled down to the players. So yeah, I wanted to say that.
No, I think we've addressed this incredibly well. I'm proud of the way we've handled it. Do want to say, if you do want to hear a little bit more from someone who's way more educated in these matters than we are, then do head over to the Kop End Fracas Twitter page, and you will find a selection of videos that Mr. Mike has done on LBC and BBC News in regards to this issue. Fantastic stuff from him, so very well put. And I'm going to end it kind of on this note. It is something that has been festered from the top of our government and been enabled, where you've got people who feel they can say these type of things without any form of consequence. Consequence does need to come. And if you're someone who is listening to the podcast right now and you decide to hurl vile abuse at any of those England players after that game, turn it off immediately, hit unsubscribe, and please do not associate with this platform anymore, because quite frankly, we don't want people like you anywhere near what we do. So yeah, into Liverpool stuff. I'm just going to do a quick product placement here in terms of Fast and Furious. I'm drinking out of my Fast and Furious cup that I got from the cinema the other day.
I was going to say, why do you have a Fast and Furious cup, mate? Like, what on earth is going on?
Well, family, that's why. Family. The boys reported for preseason. So as one kind of season closes, another season begins. It's a weird one for me because I feel like I've had a month off while everyone else has just been exhausted. So,
mate, I feel the same. Honestly, also, I'm rattled at the fact that I haven't learnt my lesson. Like, I feel like that Jeremy Corbyn video, when he like that, they play after that, you throw off, you're like, oh, here we go again. We've just stressed out, damn near lost all our hair on our head. Well, I definitely have lost all our hair on our head after the end of the last season we've had. And suddenly I'm looking forward to the next season. What is wrong with me? one picture of Van Dijk and Gomez nutmegging each other and laughing. And I'm like, I'm back in.
Honestly, that first picture I saw of Virgil, I was like, the boys are back. I'm ready.
Yeah,
for this.
literally.
I am pumped.
Same.
No, if you watch on the video, we seem to have lost Ellis. We're going to try and get him back as soon as possible. So me and Harold do the utmost we can to hold the fort down in the meantime. It's a new season, and it's a weird one, Harold. So it's the first time in a while that we've kind of truly had the big hitters, the big players in this squad early doors for this really intensive period. So how much do you think of a benefit this will be to us, having them in early doors for the preparation that we have for the upcoming season?
Huge, but not even for reasons that you'd probably think of. So you're probably thinking of fitness and just general training and just getting their reps up when it comes to football. I guess the likes of Gomez and the Van Dijk, who've been out for an entire season, would benefit from that. But someone like Mo Salah, I feel like he's permanently in shape. Same with Sadio Mane. I've never seen any fitness issues with Bobby Firmino either. I think generally our team is very fit, and you have to be to play in a clock system, right? But what I'd say from a morale and from a chemistry point of view, it's great to have those big hitters in the squad so early. You can see, first of all, the intent from Klopp to have everyone together. You can see, I think also helps us with our different shapes that we could possibly have. Obviously, the signing of Ibrahim Konate means that we can possibly go to a back five. I doubt it's going to happen. Klopp doesn't really like it, but it's a possibility, and we can try out different shapes. So those things, more of the less quantifiable things, like I'm particularly the morale part of it. I can imagine being like a Harvey Elliott coming back from a rather successful loan and seeing the best centre half in the world, seeing a new signing in Ibrahim Konate, seeing the likes of Mo Salah, who went and had a fantastic season again, Sadio Mane, etc., being like, yo, I'm ready. I'm ready to roll. Shimmy Cash will benefit from this as well. It's good to have him there, actually just get some chalk on these boots, playing on the left-hand side. It's good. I'm almost happy Scotland went out a little bit early as well, just so Robbo can have some much-needed rest. So it's good for those sides of things. And also, I think for the fans, like, I'm gassed. I don't know why I'm gassed, because they give me so much stress. They give me so much stress. But it's just great seeing the boys back, man. It's great.
It really is. Els, I'll bring you in here. Obviously, we saw the pictures of Virgil, of Gomez coming back, them participating in first team training, doing all the fitness stuff with the boys. How happy are you just to see those guys back? And obviously, we heard Klopp say that they're almost there at full fitness. Matip, one of our favourites, no context, Joel Matip, is the closest of the three to coming back, and obviously Trent isn't too far out either. How much optimism does this kind of fill you to kind of go into the season to make sure that we hit the ground running?
Yeah, man, a lot, because we saw how significant their absence was last season. We felt it as well. Again, big up Phillips, big up Williams for what they've done towards the end of the season. But when you have these three top centre backs, make no mistake about it, they are arguably probably, could I say, top 5, top 10 centre backs in the league. You know what I'm saying, without even thinking about it too much. And to have them into the team and to have them from the start and have a full pre-season is going to help Liverpool a lot. We're going to benefit a lot from it. Yeah, man. When I saw Van Dijk, Gomez, I was very gassed. Man, because I know where we're going to be with them fit. Obviously, I'm not too sure where they are performance-wise or fitness-wise. I'm not too sure where they are, but apart from that, these are like elite players. Then Matip as well, who's a top defender. I want to say he's an elite defender. Having him back as well helps a lot. And also Konate, French under 21 captain, sorry. He looks the real deal. He looks the absolute package, man. He's about 6'5".
Pause, brother. Are you okay?
Yeah, pause. I said he looks the package. I didn't say he has up. What's wrong with you, bro?
See, you almost said it. See?
But pause anyway.
What made you go with a verse?
Whoa. Yeah. So, but yeah, he looks like he's gonna be an absolute top player as well. So, fam, I told man, be careful this season. We're coming for them. Pause. If you have to pause, I don't.
I think it's just to hedge all bets and just pause on everything, really.
Yeah, I guess so.
But because the pause patrol will be, they're local, they're around, isn't it? One thing I did notice when I saw all the pictures of the boys kind of flooding back is, first of all, it was just great to see them. You felt like you were disconnected from them for that long. Obviously, you saw them on the holidays and whatnot, but it was just nice to see them walking back through the door, all that beaming smiles on their faces, and no one looked more cool than Mo Salah. I just think he just always looks cool, to be fair. And he looked refreshed. He looked hungry, ready to get back at it, ready to say, Harry Kane, we're coming for you. I'm coming back for my golden boot. You're going down, etc. From the mental aspect of the game, having this extended break, disconnecting themselves away from football, just being able to kind of have a little bit of reflection on what happened the season before, not think about too much the season after, but just kind of have that decent disconnect and time away from the game. Surely that would have done them all the world of good.
Oh, so much so. I think you can even. It's difficult to know about Mo Salah's personal life, isn't it? I never really know where his head is at, because he always speaks quite well. He was talking about how much he loves the club, he wants to stay here, etc. There's always reports saying he's going to go to Real Madrid, but he was putting them down, etc. But from these pictures alone, it looks like he's very happy. He's with his family a lot of the time in the off season, so it's good to see him in that regard. Also, like you said, he's just a super cool guy, isn't he? Like I found it hilarious, right? So after England lost on penalties, right? I go on Twitter. Who's just posted a picture immediately after? Just Mo Salah with his glasses, just arrived in Austria. He's just like one of the coolest guys. He's just hilarious. Like he's just another planet. I love it personally because he's just so focused. Yeah, the mental side of it as well. There's a lot of talk about him going here, going there. Just some time alone with your family, man. Like it's just necessary sometimes, particularly in this period where it's been non-stop football. Also, it's also been a bloody pandemic. It's just nice to get out and just relax, So, like you say, we're doing a world of good. And he has elite mentality. So I have no worries about him hitting the ground running. He's literally the last player. I think I expect the most from him this season. If there's anyone I'll put on, it's him. Literally, he's number one. So Mohamed Salah, boy, the table is here for you. I mean, Harry Kane on the Nuno is tight, boy. But anyway, it's here for you, Mo.
Welcome to the Nuno Penitentiary. If you do want a bit more Nuno-related content, then listen to Touchline Hotspurs for all your Nuno needs.
You had too much fun with that, Krish.
I did, to be fair. I do like Nuno as well. Good lad. Good lad from a good home. By a good home, I mean Wolverhampton. I wonder why I said that. Els, that kind of mental break, I think he would have done pretty much everyone in the world are good. No more so than probably Sadio Mane. We saw him snatch a lot of chances kind of towards last season. Again, another one who came in, big smile on his face. But I think you always get that with Sadio, to be fair, even when he misses chances. He's always got a nice smile on his face. He's like, yes, the next one will come around. But the next one never come around last season, so let's hope he does come around this year. Surely for him, it would have done him the world of good as well.
Bruv, he looks so refreshed. His skin was shining. God, guys, she come in with his native attire, Givenchy sliders in his hands. Yeah, some next loafers on. Bro, my brother looked good. He looked like he had a lovely time in Senegal. I think he went to where did he go? Mallorca or something? In Mallorca. So yeah, he looks refreshed. Man.
I don't know why the image of Sadio Mane in Mallorca is just very funny.
But when I saw it was on his Insta, innit? I saw Mallorca. I was like, Mallorca? Brother, what? You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone anywhere. Mallorca. I was like, fair enough. Each to their own, innit? Harold, you're on mute, man.
My bad. Wow, all the time. That would make a great pre-season campaign, you know. Mane and Maga. Hilarious.
Hilarious. Magaluf Mane. Get in.
Manaluff.
Manaluff. Oh, God. Yeah, but
that is episode title. That's episode title.
Manaluff.
Yes. Yeah, but he looked refreshed, man. I think he really needed it because last season was very inconsistent for him. Take away the footballing aspect. I think he suffered from COVID. Did he pick up a knock? I think he picked up a couple of knocks during the season. It was just he looked really like leggy. It looked really mentally draining for him. So him getting away, you know, getting that. Well, I'm so happy that there was no continental football in Africa for the summer because he really needed the rest, and the rest, I think we're doing very well going into the season. Because people tend to forget. Last season, I think he came back from what was last season? What tournament was last season?
He came back. It was in the summer. What was that though? I don't
remember.
Was that?
Was that World Cup or something?
No, it wasn't a World Cup.
Did you just say it was World Cup?
No.
What was that?
Yeah. I was just lost. This wasn't World Cup. Can't remember. But anyway,
he played in. Did he play in that? Oh, that's going to drive us wild. We'll have to think about that.
Yeah,
I think you're playing something that was like, it was like a Copper, it was like a Copper America, completely different continent. It was like it
wasn't. I don't know. Well, anyway, he went to a tournament anyway, and they had like
it was like an AFCON tournament. Yeah.
Tell it sorry, that was 2 seasons ago. He went to the World Cup 2 seasons ago. He went to the World Cup 2 seasons ago. Then he had a couple weeks break.
3 seasons ago, bro. 3.
No, what year did we beat Norwich?
World Cup was 2018, my guy.
2023.
Ellis, you're killing me, brother. You're killing me.
Whatever we had, anyway, he had 2 weeks off, and he came back, and no rest. Then
maybe you know what, Ellis? Maybe there was an African equivalent. I doubt this to the Nations League. That's when we had that, wasn't it?
Nah.
He definitely went away for something. Let's just give this subject matter because we will literally be here all day. But he went away for something.
Well, yeah, he went away for something.
Lord knows my head's count.
He had 2 weeks off. He had 2 weeks off. Then he was like, that's when he said, he doesn't need rest. He doesn't need rest. Essentially, he did need the rest, and it showed this season because everything just culminated in a train crash for him this season. Having said that, he still got 11 goals, which was more than a lot of people, which is a bit insane anyway. But for the level that we know Mane at, and for what he was at last season, it was chalk and cheese. So having him take that solid rest is very needed, man. It looks well levered, well refreshed, and it's coming for you guys.
He's coming. He's come with a point to prove, and also to prove Ellis wrong on his dates and figures. I want to bring everyone's attention to there's a really cool feature, and I'm glad they've done this, to be honest with you. A really cool feature on Liverpool.com. LiverpoolFC.com. Liverpool.com is where Harold does his fantastic videos. There's a new video on there at the moment where you can see me gain the high score on who is it? The champ is here.
Like he did that on purpose. I can't believe that.
Of course he did.
It was organic, but
extraordinaire.
You ain't tricking if you got it. But yes, LiverpoolFC.com have got a fantastic diary at the moment that Pep Linders is keeping of pre-season. Go over there, check it out. It's really good and insightful stuff. I was going to read a few excerpts, and we'll obviously discuss it a little bit now. First bit is, I have to be honest, I love the pre-season for the manager and the coaching staff. This is the moment where the new ideas and the good old ones are developed. Firstly, it's all about creating habits and showing our standards. Very interesting that he said creating habits and showing our standards, as we can all kind of agree the standards part was one of the things that we slipped on throughout last season. The most interesting part for me was this section here, and Pep says, we will go through this preseason of 3 stages. The first one is going back to basics with the idea that we want to control games by being dominant in each moment. Secondly, it's going back to the consistency, something we massively lacked last year, good Lord. And thirdly, it's about creating an us versus the world mentality. No distraction, focus on the process and the collective, something that will only work when we have the whole team together. This should make that whenever we go and whoever we play against, we'll be able to put our game into place. When you hear those fighting words from who is essentially the assistant manager, you can't help but feel really. I mean, I feel like I could run through a brick wall now, just hearing all that and what you can expect from the season and what they're going to kind of process in, and it really gives you a good insight of what we can be seeing this next season. So, Els, I'll come to you. What caught your eye throughout most of that?
It was probably the back to basics, bro. It was probably that. It was just like, I think last season in the middle, we sort of lost our way a bit. Obviously, we lost a lot of games, but we lost our intensity. We lost our pressing. The gaps between the midfield and attack was so large, and it was something so surreal and strange to see, because usually we're so high up the pitch where people are complaining like, oh, the high line is too high. But that's just our game, our natural game. And because of that gap, we was losing a lot of second balls and was losing a lot of momentum in our game. We wasn't connecting with the forwards quick enough. So it really, really affected our game. So when I hear Pep saying that we're looking to go back to basics with Konate and Matip possibly starting the first game, that means that high line is coming back. That means the pressing is coming back. That means that intense passing is coming back, which is what we want to see. And that's that type of Klopp football that has made us really unstoppable, because we literally suffocate teams, and we wasn't suffocating teams. It was giving them a lot to, making it so easy for them. If you look back at the Brighton home game and the Burnley home game, it was really easy for them, wasn't it? Because we were just trying to launch it in, trying to get something, trying to win something, and we couldn't do it. But naturally, when we play those teams, we usually suffocate them. We don't give them any time to think. And I hope that Liverpool's coming back. So, yeah, we'll see. And also the togetherness, like the distractions from outside, the little talking and things like Trent getting called up to England and those little things, it kind of, which ironically coincided when we had our best form, or coming into our best form anyway. But apart from that, we had a lot of people second guessing some of our best players. Like Mane was getting laughed at, and people were just, suggesting silly things here and there. So I hope now with everything coming back and Liverpool looking to rip it up, man.
100%. And I think the ripping it up part is really important. And Harold, will come to you. Seems that they want to really kind of just get the team going and hit the ground just like a house on fire. They want to get out there. They want to show the old Liverpool. They want to show the old Liverpool's back. And they want to kind of get these wins on the board and have it similar to the season where we won the league, where we're possibly so far out in front that everyone else just thinks, for fuck's sake, we're not going to catch these.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why Pep touches on both consistency and us versus the world. There's two ways you can see that, right? In the 1920 season where we won the league, you could see that the consistency was there. Every week in, week out, we didn't even don't get it twisted. We won the league, but if you remember clearly, we didn't play the best football. But the one thing we were consistent about was not conceding goals. We kept our goal tallies nice and low. You remember at one point that we were saying, can we catch Mourinho's Chelsea side? I think was it the 04-05 Chelsea side? I can't remember that got the lowest goals conceded tally. And they're talking about whether we can catch that because we were shutting up shop. That's one thing we were fantastically consistent at. And another part is us against the world. How I like took that on board was late goals. We love a late wins. It's like, listen, everyone wants us to lose. Everyone is looking at us for our downfall, but we're not going to let them succeed. And you can see with every win that we got, even in like that, I can't remember what month did we play Villa where Robbo and Mane got the goals to win 2-1. I don't remember what month that was, but that was early.
It was October. It was like late October or November.
Yeah, November.
And we were moving. We were talking about like. Do you see the emotion after that? October. The league has won in May, right? Like we're talking about in October. You can just see how much it meant to them. You can see like how it's been instilled. And one thing I will say is, I love our coaches and our players and just how they can just churn out that same passion year in, year out. Because even me in my profession, it's tough sometimes. Like week by week, let alone year by year, it's tough, right? So these guys come through and they're like, Klopp's like, yep, I'm ready. I'm here again to tackle it. Same with Pep. Yep, I'm ready. And I'm talking stick as well. Like this is what we're gonna try and do. And you'll just give the players a massive boost because they know the recipe for success. So it's now all about go ahead and doing it. Hopefully injuries will be on our side, so our key players actually do stay fit this season. And I genuinely see no reason why we can't be consistent, and no reason why we can't be ruthless like we were in 1920.
It's got the image of you at work, Harold, just sitting there at your desk thinking, "Oh, great, accounts receivable again." Just like
you know what it is like. It's every month. It's something we do something like called month end, and it's just like. Month end accounts, and again, month end, quarter end accounts, H1, H2, year end accounts. It's like over and over. But these guys just keep going, man. I respect it. I respect anyone who's consistent in what they do, whatever trade it is. I respect it dearly, man.
1000%. Just going to touch on one more thing before we do head over to the lovely Liverpool focus thing that is transfers that gets heads melted and kettled like no other. We've got a lot of footballers at this training camp at the moment. Footballers who we kind of think have been lost in Liverpool kind of memory in the past few years. How many of these footballers currently on this training camp have a lot to prove heading into this season? So the main one for me, I think, and I think his attitude is absolutely spot on, who's recently signed a new contract. I think Harvey Ellis got a massive role to play in this training camp. As you know, if there is a switch that we want to possibly do to a 4-2-3-1, I think he could be really key there. And his enthusiasm and his attitude was from that interview as well. It's absolutely spot on. He knows he's going to go in there and he's going to learn from some of the best. He's going to learn, the fitness and the professionalism that it takes from James Milner. He's going to go in there. He's going to learn from Mo, that relentless attitude it takes to be the best, to want to be the best. He's going to go in there. He's going to learn from Virgil, the professionalism, how to lift yourself up. And I think he's going to be absolutely key. And he's going to come on with not a chip on his shoulder necessarily, but he can walk in there and say, I was one of the best players in the Championship last season. And hopefully he goes in and definitely shows that. Els, for you, who is one of the footballers that has kind of one of the biggest points to prove within this training camp and to show that he can be a really core piece of Liverpool heading into next season?
Apart from Harvey Elliott, to be fair, there's kind of a few, bro. There's Minamino, there's Ox, there's Naby,
Shimikash.
there's Simicast, there's probably Gomez. Obviously, Gomez Gomez was integral, but I think it's plain to see that I think Klopp's best centre back pairing is probably Matip and Van Dijk. And Gomez got in there because Matip was injured. That's not to say Gomez is not fantastic. He is fantastic. It's that those two were absolutely solid. So he's also got something to prove with Konate also coming in. So there's a few players in that camp that might say to Klopp, brother, I deserve to be here and I want to be here. My main guys are probably Minamino, Ox. I want to say Divock, but man's been here since Jesus was a lad, man. He ain't done nothing, man. Still at you, bruv. You get some on nerves, blood. But yeah, especially Ox and Minamino, because like Minamino went on loan. He came in. He was a player that we thought, this looks like another Mickey Edwards special. You know what I'm saying? Bought him cheap.
Who calls him Mickey Edwards, blood?
I do. He's my guy.
I think we touched on the fact that man said that Origi was at the feeding of the multitude. Like what's going on there? Like,
he was there at the manger, bro. This guy's been there for a time. He's been there for a little while, fam. But Minamino and Ox will definitely use this opportunity to show that they can add a bit of value to the cause, and they should, to be fair, because I think Minamino's you can see his quality. Like, let's not make no bones about it. You can see he's got a bit of quality about him, but has he got quality for Liverpool standard? Well, we don't know. My
only concern with the Minamino bit is I don't think he's long for this Liverpool squad. I think if a decent offer came in, I think he would probably would be sold. Yes, it would be a little bit harsh, but I think if you have the chance to kind of double your investment and use that to bring in a more marquee name, as we're going to touch on in a short while, I think you do that. Harold, I want to come to you about Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think we can all say, as a person, we absolutely love him. I think he's, I know, again, like we were talking about earlier on, the fantastic lads that we have in our squad, he's definitely one of them. This is a massive, massive preseason for him. And he seems like we say this all the time in terms of his fitness more than anything. This will possibly be the first time he's coming into a preseason where he's fully fit and he's not got any kind of hanging injuries or anything surrounding him. He's going into this physically fit. How big is this for him to prove that he can get back to somewhat of the Ox he was in that almighty Champions League run in 17-18?
I think this is Oxlade-Chamberlain's biggest preseason of his career. Not to speak in hyperbole, but that's genuinely what I believe. I think he's been hampered by some serious injuries, very unfortunately now for the last since really 17-18, wasn't it? But when he got that injury, I can't remember who we were playing. But I remember it was a slide tackle we went for.
Roma
game.
Roma. Okay. Goodness me, that's so long ago. And he just hasn't been the same since. This is a huge preseason, like you say, Krish. It's the first preseason in a while. It's a huge campaign for him. Like you say, fitness wise, there's always been question of his fitness. And I think at one point we were like, let's just blame it on the Arsenal's health facilities there, because a lot of players used to get injured very, very often. They were like, okay, this is fine. He'll come to Liverpool and everything will be all right. But that actually necessarily hasn't changed as much. Some freak injuries, albeit nonetheless, right? So it's huge in that respect. Another thing I'd say about Ox is even when he came back, he looked a bit off the boil, right? And I was like, I don't know if this guy has a future here. However, that Burnley performance, we scored that really good goal. I think it was left foot near post.
Yeah.
I was like, for goodness sake. He just had to go on and show us like there is some quality here. Like just draw us back in. It just gave me.
I want you to put the word on the street that we back up. That's
yeah. Yeah, it's just like, you know what, Ox? Like, okay, damn, because it was actually a really good goal. Like, it was genuinely a good goal.
Yeah.
It was actually a good goal.
It was a solid finish.
Yeah, I was like, for goodness sake. So it was a quality finish. I just need to see more of it. I think as Liverpool fans, I think we know what Ox can bring. Now it's a question as to whether he can cement a place in. I don't think he can cement a place in midfield, but whether he can put a question mark in Klopp's head over him playing in midfield, or whether he can show himself as more of a operational player, where he can cover more than one position. So moving over to right back, where I think he'd actually be quality at right back, in my own personal opinion. I think it suits him very well. However, it's just like whether he'd want to do that. That's part of the reason why he wanted to leave Arsenal, wasn't it? He didn't want to play left wing back, for goodness sake. Like he wanted to play in midfield. That's his preferred position. So whether he wants to do that as well. So really, it's a question over if his quality is high enough to maintain a midfield, even a substitution, a consistent sub. Like that's a big plus. The fact that he's available to be doing that, and then from there, look at starting some more games. I know you didn't ask me this, Krish, but I wanted to make a note of another player who Ellis didn't mention. I think this is a big. I won't say big, but I think it's a campaign of note for him. Curtis Jones. He went out of the side in a 1-0 loss against Chelsea, if you remember, when we lost to them at Anfield, and I think he came back late towards the campaign. My memory fails me, but I remember he wasn't there for ages, and we're like, oh, has he got a niggle? Is he injured? And he wasn't. Like he was just out of the squad. This is out of favor. Let's be good to see him back in the rotation. So I think it's a big preseason for him. I saw him in training looking golden as always. Well, not as always. Looking golden. Looked like he just enjoyed the holiday.
Of trims as well.
Yeah, but he looks well. Like that's one thing I'm really happy about. Our players look really healthy. They look good. So yeah, I just hope he can kick on for what he had last season, because at one point we're like, wow, like this guy's actually proper good. And when rival fans say the same thing as well, it's good to hear.
Completely agree. Also a big fan of how you introduced that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain segment. Sound like one of those mid-90s movie trailers. Is this Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's last chance at Liverpool?
I think it
Coming
is,
soon.
When you guys think though, like this is a huge campaign for Chamberlain, man. I think this is make or break for him, in my opinion.
Massive, bro. Massive.
Because it's insane to me that I always think that we would go, what's the one thing that we lack in the squad at the moment? Goals from midfield. What should we probably go and buy this summer? A goal scoring midfielder.
Literally.
What do we have in the squad when he's fit? A goal scoring midfielder.
Yeah.
So he could alleviate that by just being fit and cementing himself in that Liverpool team. Did want to talk a little bit more about Ibrahima Konate, but I mean, we've got transfers to talk about. It's what the people want. We've deliberately left it till last, so people tune in to listen to all our transfer talks. It is time for some Saul Niguez chat of Atletico Madrid, who we've been linked with recently, and it does seem that like this possibly will be a bit of a concrete thing for us to pursue. It's a weird one. He had a little bit of a down season last year. I ran some of his stats over the weekend because I'm sad, and that's what I do over my weekends. The shape of the Atletico Madrid team changed. Some of the roles and responsibilities of the midfield, and he seemed he dropped out of favour. Interesting that his kind of shot creating actions decreased massively, 52 in the 1920 season as opposed to 35 in the 2021 season. It scored 6 goals in the previous season before and had 2 goals this current season. Outperformed his XG in the season before as well, and his progressive passing was just off the charts in 1920. I think, Els, I'll come to you. This is something that me and you have talked about a little bit in length. It seems that Liverpool and the nerds behind computers, I can't think of what to actually call them, but the Michael Edwards is the analytics guys. Big up the nerds behind computers, by the way. You keep the world running. Don't mean to disparage you. It seems like they've seen an opportunity to potentially buy an out-of-favour player, as I've seen recently as well. Rodrigo de Paul of Udinese, a favourite of mine, has gone to Atletico Madrid, seemingly to possibly be Saul's replacement. Do you see this as being a good signing for Liverpool if it were to happen?
Yeah, I can't say I've watched him in great detail, but somebody that was instrumental in Atletico's previous winning campaign. I know when he was really on form, he signed like I saw that he signed like a 7-year deal or something crazy.
Yeah,
like
the death row contract, 9-year contract.
So I was saying, and you tend to give contracts to those type of people that you feel that it's part and parcel of what you're trying to build and trying to create at the club. It just happens in football. People fall out of favor. Teams change. The use for his ability was probably not needed as much. So it looks like it's a good opportunity to bring a really established European footballer. When I say European, I mean someone who's played in obviously the Champions League and the latter stages of the Champions League. Again, it's somebody that was really instrumental in what Atletico Madrid were doing. So it seems like it could be a coup for Liverpool because I think probably, let's say 2-3 seasons, his name was on the lips on a lot of people like looking for a midfielder. Oh, look at him, he's wicked. Oh yeah, Saul Niguez, Saul, whatever you say his name. So people are trying to get him. Sorry, apologies for
pronunciation. End Fracas over here.
Apologies. So yeah, I think if Liverpool was to get him, he would really, really add a lot of talent to what we have already. He seems like he would replace Gini. Seems like he's someone that does get goals from midfield. Obviously, take away he scored 2 goals last season, which is more than Gini. But anyway, he will definitely add what we need in our midfield. And again, he's a top talent, man. So it would be a good signing, to be honest.
Harold, I'm going to come to you as well. Kind of piggyback on what Ellis has said there. One of the big things about Saul is his kind of positional versatility as well. Also helped that he's played under that butcher's formation over Atletico Madrid of Simeone. God knows he could possibly do all the defensive elements of the game, or with us also doing the offensive elements of the game as well. Do you think this would have been a signing we'd have been happier with 2 years ago, considering the name as we are opposed to now?
Yes, I do think that. Like you say, he's played in every position. He's literally Gini Wijnaldum, the auxiliary player. He's even played centre half, for goodness sake, and left back. That's insane.
Yeah,
yeah, it's insanity to me. I think we're just maybe just more like entertainment side of things. As fans, you just want someone a bit more forward thinking, someone a bit more progressive. I get it works with Gini. Don't get me wrong, it works, and I feel like we just replace him with a Spanish version. He's not old. I mean, I think he's only 25, 26 years old. I think
26. Yeah.
He's only 26 years old. I mean, like he's like 24, 26. I mean, it really isn't the worst. He hasn't had any crazy injuries or anything. I find it difficult for it to excite me. I can't lie to you. I blame Simeone because some of these players could be world beaters. Some of these players could be world beaters, but would never know it. Like if you watch Joao Felix, you'd be like, oh, he isn't one of the greatest like young players in the world. You would never think that, right? But I do like the fact that he can play so many positions. It would be a very Klopp-ish type of signing, I would say, in this fact that how much he loved Gini, right? Even though I can't remember if Gini was signed by Klopp. Yeah, he was. I think he was one of his first few signings. Was he? No, he wasn't. Was he?
Yeah, he was.
He was. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm going crazy. Yeah, he was signed in 15-16, wasn't he? Okay, yeah. Ignore me. So yeah, I don't know. Like Els, I can't lie to you. I haven't watched a lot of Atletico outside of the Champions League and the latter parts of La Liga last year when things were hotting up a bit. There's just nowhere to watch it in England. It seems illegally. So yeah, he's not someone that makes me jump out of my seat. I have to be honest. I would have liked someone just a bit more progressive. But hey, look, I'm willing to give him the chance. But I just feel like he's out of nowhere, though. Don't you guys think? Like it's like raw, like Saul. It's just like okay, cool, but there's been no links. It's just mad. But anyway, that's just me.
It has been very kind of Randy Orton out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
literally.
it's just one of those ones where you know me. I have to get at least one wrestling reference on the pod each week. It's in my contract, the unwritten contract that I've done with myself. It just seemed like one of these kind of market inefficiencies that Liverpool do really seem to thrive on. If you get a player with a little bit of still untapped potential there, to add to an already really strong squad and deliver value, I think you do it. It's a weird one for me because I still think with midfielders this year, I don't necessarily think we're going after the Wijnaldum replacement. I think that Thiago is Wijnaldum's replacement. I think we're looking for a more long-term Henderson solution with his injury woes. And kind of relegating Hendo to a bit more of the James Milner role from 17-18. Just to shamelessly plug one of our Patreon shows that we did recently. Do head over and subscribe to the Patreon if you're a fan of this pod. That is www.patreon.com/Kop End Fracas. We did a show last week. It's the first part of a three-parter called called The Strategy, where we kind of outlined what we think would be the ideal strategy for Liverpool to pursue this summer with their transfers. A really good show. It has myself, Mike, David, and Mush. So do head over to there if you do head over to the Patreon and subscribe if you want to hear more from that. It does seem that with the players that we're linked with now, it's a very consistent group of the same names. So for midfield, obviously it's now Saul, Tielemans, who I've got to be quite honest, I'm not a big fan. I wouldn't be excited with Tielemans. I'm glad you lot are. This is why you're very good men, and I'm glad that you are on this pod with me. That you share this skepticism as well. With Tielemans.
Boring.
I need more PMP, man. Please.
Yeah,
please,
man. He's too lax, bro.
But to use the Ellis term, he turns like a truck.
He does. He does, bro.
And
not for me.
And he isn't like super strong like Emery Chan, even though Chan used to turn like a grand piano as well. Like he's just like he's not super strong. So what's going for you? I mean, that's some decent passing, but this is
And that's my thing with Tielemans is also that he's like in and out of games. He's never constant.
Super,
You know what I'm saying? So one game he
when
might
he came
be
on loan though. When he was here on loan, I think was the first season he was here in the Prem. Was a couple seasons ago. He was all. He was. I think he was moderately consistent, and then he came second year syndrome. He didn't look very good.
Is that because he was fighting for his life?
Yeah,
possibly. Yeah. No.
I'm about to say that. I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah,
I'm fighting for my life.
It's true. It's true. Once you get what you've been waiting for, like your motivations in there, the same way like a Theo Walcott would perform so well before he gets a contract offer. So
we should call that Theo Walcott syndrome. In all honesty.
Yeah, it's true.
That performance, but in that midfield group, we've been linked to obviously Tielemans, Renato Sanchez again. It's another one when you look at it, you think, really. There's also kind of Nicola Barella of Inter Milan, who is, if you're shopping top end of midfielders, that's the one you want. Oh, bellissimo.
Delicious.
It's fantastic. It was molto bene. Just saying random Italian sayings. And also Florian Neuhaus, who is a fan favourite of mine and Mike's, who were banned from talking about on the pod because he's a tyrant. And of course, Yves Bissouma, who the links have kind of died down recently. And in regards to the forward positions, I haven't really heard us being mentioned to anyone. Obviously, the one name that always just consistently keep coming up is Donyell Malen of Paris Saint-Germain, PSV. I've known Paris Saint-Germain. Got that on the brain. And we were recently linked to Federico Chiesa, which is a weird one because I think he's on loan from Fiorentina to Juventus. But after seeing the way he played, we're not getting him. Although if we were, probably be shirtless doing a pod, and no one wants that. So hopefully we don't get him.
Mate, you would be both, Krish. You would be both.
So it does look like we're trying to add a midfielder and a forward. So from your guys' opinion, do you think that is enough quantity-wise? Also adding Konate into the mix as well. Do you think that's enough to add to this current crop of players, or do you think we kind of need possibly one or two more, depending on sales?
Don't let Ellis speak because he'll say yes regardless of what you say. What did you think? Do you mind reading off again? Sorry, Krish. You said what, a midfielder, and you say a forward as well?
Yeah, so a midfielder who can do a little bit of everything, and a forward who is positionally versatile.
I need a fullback, man. Like I need a some. I'm willing to give Shimakash another chance. Hopefully he can stay fit. But unfortunately, I don't think Nico Williams is cut out for the big time for us, man. Like even as a backup, like I'll just keep it 100. I would love to see us sign another fullback who can cover both sides. That's very rare, but I trust Mickey Edwards to go and find someone with quotations, Mickey. But yeah, I that'll be fine. Just one more: a midfielder, a forward, and a fullback. I'm cool. Let's go into the season. I'm happy. I'm actually okay with that.
Els?
Yeah, I think I need 2 midfielders and a forward, to be fair. I think our midfield, like Keita and Chamber, that's the 1.5 legs each. If that.
One.
Yeah, 1 leg each. So that's, I need 2 midfielders, brother. Yeah, I need to. I probably, midfielder can do everything, then probably another goal scoring midfielder. And I need us forward. Ideally, I would like a number 9, but if you can't get him, I need someone who can do a job on Salah's side and someone who can do a job centrally.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. It's a weird one for me as well, because I think if we kind of move the players that we want to move, I think you can kind of push a narrative that we do need a bit of a game-changing player off the bench. Harold can help me back me up on this. In NBA terms, what is the one thing that you want kind of off your bench? You want someone who's a solid 3 and D wing who can contribute. That is what wins championships. It used to be big men, but now it's 3 and D wings. So in footballing terms, I kind of think you need someone of that ilk to kind of come off the bench. And that person for me will probably be, from what Ellis was saying earlier on, someone who could play as an attacking midfielder, but also play as a number 10 or out wide as well. Someone, not a Dharma Traore per se, but someone who can come off the bench for 20, 25 minutes and add a little bit of that to the game that you need in certain situations.
You need a better track. Is who?
Nothing.
Say what you said.
I said Chiesa, but I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement.
Bad. Nah, ideally, what you need is a better Shaq. Really.
Yes.
you need a better Shaq.
It's that simple. Basically, what you need is, and I think the player who weirdly fits the bill when I was watching the Euros, I was watching how Damsgaard plays.
Okay.
He possibly doesn't have that extra yard of pace, but what you'd expect for someone who would come off your bench and add a little bit of impetus, I think he'd be perfect. But again, he's probably someone who could start elsewhere in other teams.
Yeah. I just wish Shaq done something more than just run around.
Ellis.
I know.
Give it up, man.
Yeah.
Give up the ghost.
Just push bro, please.
Yeah. Fucking hell, Shaq.
It was all good in his first season, and now it's just, how much can we get? Brother, please, how much can we get?
Literally.
Speaking, one last thing I want to quickly cover before we do kind of sign off with this pod. With the outgoings, it does seem like we're kind of waiting for that one catalyst moment to really be sparked for our player movement. And of course, the Euros definitely haven't helped with that matter. Are you concerned at all that we might not potentially be able to move some of the deadwood that we have in the team and the out of favour for rotational options like your Shakiris, your Origis, etc.?
Yes. I'm worried because I feel like, although I really trust Michael Edwards, I think he's a fantastic director of football. However, boy, it's looking brazy because the teams can see these players are not good. Like they're actually not good. like they're not fools. You know what I mean? So it's tough. I'm actually a little bit worried that it's gonna hang. It's just gonna be there, just on the books. Just like literally just withering away like a Chelsea or something. It does sadden me a bit, or United rather, I should say, to be honest.
I'm just worried that we're gonna try and do what we've done last season and try and get what we think their value is. So, for
Yeah.
instance, Harry Wilson, we're going to try and wait for that 15 million. Whereas if someone offered 11, just sell him for everyone's sake. Sell him because then he's going to play. We're going to get our money. Everyone can move on with their life. But if you're keeping there just because of 4 million and you miss out on an opportunity to go get who you wanted to get because of 4 million, what's that? Now you've got a guy who you can't move. You've got to send him on loan again. He's probably, by the time he comes back, he's going to be 27 or something. And what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So that's my worry. Like, you're trying to get value where there's not much value. Ideally, you just want to sell as many people as possible, man.
So I think for me at the moment, I think you get 11 million for Wilson. I think that's good business. I think if you get 15 million for Shaqiri, I think that's good business. I think you can definitely get 15 million for Krish, and that definitely seems like he's coming from Porto. And I think Porto are waiting to make some outgoings before they do that. So it is a weird one because not that much business, when you look at it continentally, has been done. A lot of it has been kind of that lower tier business or stuff that's been done on freeze. So it is a bit of a sticky one. I think a lot of the movement we'll see is a little bit later on. But yeah, in terms of the top tier signings that Liverpool will do, I'm pretty confident we'll sign a midfielder and a forward, regardless whether we do any more in terms of depth. That'll be wait to see in terms of the player outgoings, but hopefully we can get some extra players in to help with the upcoming war. I think it's good. That's a good place to end it on, really. Some great conversation with the fellas. That has been the episode of Kop End Fracas for the 14th of July. I've been your host, Krish. I've been joined by Harold and Ellis. Please do head over to the Patreon page. That is www.patreon.com/Kop End Fracas for more Kop End Fracas content. And we've got some fantastic stuff on the page. And we've got some even better stuff coming in the coming weeks. Again, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's episode of Kop End Fracas. And we will see you soon. Take care.